Hi, Jerry Sabo here, talking to my Cyber Geezer group, and it's interesting. I had just demonstrated the use of a program in the Mac in my Macintosh using Adobe Lightroom, and so I just imported all the photos that I had imported in Lightroom into my Macintosh using the Photos program. And it's very interesting because when you use a photo program, it looks like most of the work has been done for me, at least. I was noticing I had just edited a picture in Lightroom. And by the way, this is the same trip. This is the Yosemite trip. And notice in uh, the Apple Macintosh, the photos, everything is automatically organized by years, months, days, and all photos. So if I click on all photos, that'll give me everything. And that's sort of what I see when I go to Lightroom. And it's interesting to me that the photo that really had some issues that I tweaked is right here, and it's clearly already doctored up. And by the way, I can click by all photos. I can click by days, and notice the layout changes. I can change by months. So I could have. This was the trip in August that I'm referring to, the Yellowstone trip, and Wilson was that was the Grand Tetons. This is Yellowstone, and then Glacier was along with that, but. And then by years, you can see that by years, I'm talking about 2021. So here, if I clicked on 2021 and then went into days, well, maybe months first, because I know that what we talked about happened back. Notice, by the way, notice that a lot of the videos are here. Here's the Van Gogh exhibit that I went to in San Jose, the Eagles concert that we went to, and the photos are actually laid out in kind of an intriguing order. Well, this is the Yellowstone trip, so go ahead and I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go to days. And anyway, the picture that I tweaked when I was using Lightroom, it just happened to pop up as a nice picture. By the way, notice there's videos in here as well as, and you can see the videos as I'm watching. If something's a video, it has a little camera icon on it. So here's a glacier, a geyser that I took some photos of, and notice it's kind of going through a lot of interesting happenings as I'm watching it using the program. Anyway, going up a little ways, I noticed this one picture. There's another geyser. It was on the screen a minute ago. Let me see. There it is. This picture right here. When I brought it into Lightroom, it was so dark you could hardly see it, but now I'm going to double click on it to bring it up, and there's some tweaking that I can do, I think. Let me see. Let's see. I'm not sure what I need to do here. And what I'm going to do. So here's a magical effecting. So remove the auto enhancements. Let's see. See, there's where it was. But so it already had automatically had done the auto enhancements for me. So I just removed them. So now if I edit this, and I have the same sort of ability, it already did this automatically. So if I clicked auto, I think it's probably going to, not quite. It had already automatically fixed it up quite a bit. So let me change it now. So I'm going to, let's see, I guess the exposure. I need to slide it over this way a bit. And highlights, that's a little too much. Here, adjust. See, here's the original again. But when I brought it up, it was already fixed. So let's see. Magic, that's the magic thing. And light, give it some more light. Let's see, there's a histogram to it. So I think there's a way of adjusting the histogram so that I have a little bit of a curve to it. And this will do it very nicely. So I can adjust everything here. I can adjust the color. I can go to black and white, and I can have various effects. Again, color, various effects. Let me go back to what I had before, if I can. Let's see, let me reset it. Revert to the original. Change the histogram. And by sliding it in different directions, I can pretty much get it to go to make a nice picture. And that's pretty good. One other thing that's nice about this, notice there's a cropping tool. I can click on crop, and if I wanted to, I could crop this by changing it, making it a little more square. And notice automatically the cropping tool comes up with a grid. And then and so there it is right now, and I'll say done. So now my picture's been fixed up. It was already done automatically, but let me go back to the original. So anyway, the pictures that I was trying to tweak, notice they've already been tweaked. This is one of them. Oh, here's one of them that I tweaked in Lightroom. Lightroom. Let me click on Magic, see what happens. Nope, that's not that. So what I'm going to do is edit it. And let me just tweak the histogram if I can. See if I just tweak this. I got a nice picture right away, and I can adjust it. Usually that way I'll do it. And there's different effects, and I can put different graininess to the picture and so forth. Let's go back to color. Reset the adjustments. I'll just move the histogram. It's actually a whole lot easier than what I was doing in Lightroom, because a lot of the pictures came out automatically adjusted, and I just say done. So there are the pictures down below, and I can go ahead and scroll through them, and if I find one that I think needs to be adjusted, I can adjust it. Let's see. So this is using the Photos program. There's Grand Tetons. That was a picture that I adjusted before. So let me edit that a little bit. Just kind of tweak the histogram. That's a little bit too bright. Let me change the color. That's a little bit artificial. So I can change the, oh, here's some retouching. In case there are any blemishes that I want to get out. This will get the red eye out, the white balance. Let's see, it says auto. So that fixed it pretty good. Neutral gray. Skin tone. Okay, warmth. Let's see if I can change that a little bit. Okay. Anyway, it seems to be really easy to fix this up. And of course you can do things like rotating. And let's see, what are some of the other adjustments? These are extensions. I'm not sure what that means. Let's click on it. So you can, I can also edit it with Affinity Photo if I wanted to, or that's the way I've evidently set this up. So since I have an Affinity Photo in here, I could do some more editing with that program. And I haven't tried that, but there's more to it. So this is interfacing evidently with Affinity Photo. Probably something that was done in the preferences. Let's see what the original was like. Pretty dark. And let me go back to just right away clicking on the histogram and stretching it out a little bit. That usually does it. That's pretty good. So that's that picture fixed. Let me see, this is a little dark. Change the histogram. Yeah. So it's pretty easy to fix these photos. Now, one thing about the Apple Photos program, it has taken the place of iPhoto, and the library is actually using my old Affinity. What am I trying to say? I lost it. Let's see what I can find. Photos, preferences, the Aperture library. Apple used to have a really good photo program called Aperture. So this is where it is. Now, notice, as you recall, I had already organized my photos. Let me slide over here, my Finder. I had previously organized photos in this Let's See program. And in my pictures, I've got them all organized. So what I just did to get to where I am right now is I just imported these photos. And so they're not listed in the same way that they show up in Lightroom, but rather they're listed as I was showing by years. But what happens is when you import things into Photos, they automatically go into a Photos library, or in this case an Aperture library, because I evidently had a lot of photos there already. So in a way I've got a double safety, and their programs are already here. So each of these Yellowstone trip photos, and I can do a quick look at each one of them. So these are still all the originals, as dark as they might be. And pretty quickly I'll get to the one that I tweaked quite a bit. The one that's almost black. So that original photo has not been changed. It's still exactly that picture. It hasn't been changed, but in Lightroom I've adjusted it, and in the Photos program I've also adjusted it. Okay, that should be more than enough of this, so we'll quit this recording.